Hello guys, I'm back in the Cessna 310 from Milviz. Sorry, I just bought the Piper Cherokee 140 by vFlyteAir, and the reason why I bought this plane is because it's one of the few planes in X-Plane that has the KAP 140 built in, and I just wanted to compare it to the one in the Milviz Cessna 310, and I have to say I was very surprised and I am very overwhelmed that this Autopilot works much better than in the Milviz. So this Autopilot does the job way better than in a plane that is almost twice as expensive. In fact, this thing is the best simulation of the KAP 140 in X-Plane that I know. I have to add, I have not tried out the Airfall Labs Cessna, but this plane, this Autopilot actually works well, like it's written in the manual. But let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna turn this thing on, and as you can see, it puts us in the roll mode. Roll by default, which would level our wings once we were airborne, and it puts us in vertical speed by default, capturing the vertical speed that you have when engaging the Autopilot, while at the same time not showing us our vertical speed but our selected altitude. And if I wanted to change this, I would click this button, and for a few seconds it will show you the vertical speed, and by the way, it shows feet per minute, and then it switches back to the selected altitude. Well, doesn't that make sense? It's just perfect. All right, now what else? Let's go to the nav mode. As one mode transitions to the other, it blinks, and now we are in nav, and if I press the approach button now, it will arm the glide slope in addition to the nav mode. It will not override the nav mode, it will arm the glide slope in addition to the nav mode. And just a little side note, I tested it, and if you are aligned, well, the glide slope will simply capture. It will just work, unlike in the Milviz plane. All right. So what else? If I press, let's go back to heading and disengage this. Let's go back to heading, and if I press reverse, it enunciates reverse. Well, because I pressed the button. It's just also obvious. Then the next thing, this thing does not have vertical speed button, because this plane toggles between altitude hold and vertical speed by pressing this button. Now I am in vertical speed. If I press it again, I am in altitude hold. It toggles between the two settings, and then you can select the right value. What else? If I go to Alt and press those buttons now, it will not change the vertical speed setting in the background like in the Milviz plane. So all those issues are not here in a plane that, by the way, has the best performance I've ever seen in an add-on plane, payware add-on plane, with regard to the frame rate. So without streaming I would get around 50 frames, and I'm getting around 30 or 35 in the Zibo mod. So the performance is great, and just you click here, the sound, everything. But what surprised me the most was really how this Autopilot gets the job done. So instead of the vertical speed button, you have to set your QNH here. Everything works. You can, let me just select another altitude, go back to vertical speed. It will switch back to the selected altitude, and I can arm this or I can disarm this. Just everything works as it's supposed to be. Yeah, so if you want to fly a plane with this Autopilot, I would highly recommend you buy the Piper Cherokee 140 by vFlyteAir. It's a very the plane is absolutely worth the price, and it flies great, the sound is great, everything, and what is more, the autopilot is simply working the way it should work, and the way it's written in the manual. The only little glitch there is that if you use the shortcut to change your selected altitude, it will do so without any problem, but it will trigger those buttons, even though this shouldn't be the case. But this is purely visual. It has no impact on your vertical speed setting. It's just a visual little bug that is really it's not a big deal. All right, thanks for watching and goodbye. I hope, of course, that all those issues that work here and don't work in the Cessna 310 from Milviz will get fixed, but I suppose, or I think that the developers will more likely say that this is all the fault of the customers which fly the plane, claiming that they would be doing something wrong, not understanding the systems. But as I understand it, and as I wrote it in the manual, read it in the manual, this thing in the Piper just works as the manual says it would work. Alright, thanks for watching and goodbye.